I was somehow always the joke.
She's not dumb. She just doesn't think things through.
Is this chicken what I have, or is this fish? I know it's tuna, but it says chicken by the sea.
I'm spoiled. I'm so spoiled. I don't know what it is. I was trying to protect my family by not talking about it. It scared me because I have younger children. I had so much anxiety and was scared to death to be alone at night. For years, I occupied my time trying and failing to be the woman the men in my life wanted me to be. We couldn't wait for the cameras to get out of there so we could fight. His apologies would bring me back in. It was like a cycle. It was very destructive.
You don't consider yourself a womanizer?
No, absolutely not.
It just really caught up with me, and then I just started to spiral. I knew in that moment it was time to surrender. All of a sudden, I went from being a preacher's daughter to a record label telling me that I needed to lose 15 pounds. It was a little bit confusing, but I wanted to make everybody happy. So if that's what success was to them, then I would do it, but I never really felt comfortable. I have a lot of fear of going to sleep because as a child I developed these terrible protective things. I was trying to protect my family by not talking about it because I didn't want it to burden them. I didn't want to break their heart.
You talk about abuse at the hands of a family friend.
I was around 5 or 6 until I was 12. It would be in my sleep. I just needed enough noise to distract me from the pain I had been avoiding.
I immediately was in love with him.
I just thought she was drop dead gorgeous.
I wanted it to be like Romeo and Juliet.
I gave her a promise ring, which was my vow as her father to be the man in her life.
I was about to walk down the aisle. He's like, "We don't have to do this." In the beginning of my career, somehow, I was always the joke.
Is this chicken what I have, or is this fish?
Being married is not the fairy tale.
We knew our roles, and we knew when to turn it on, and we couldn't wait for the cameras to get out of there so we could fight. And by the end of the show, we weren't even really talking. I had so much anxiety and was scared to death to be alone at night. The demons that refused to let me sleep.
John Mayer stole Jessica's heart and she says broke it over and over again.
Honestly, he did it so many times I lost track. Always in an email.
You don't consider yourself a womanizer?
No, absolutely not.
What was it about him? He was tormenting you, yet you went back to him.
His apologies would bring me back in. It was like a cycle. It was very destructive. I drank before I went on stage. I just froze. So I let that defeat me. I had started a spiral and I couldn't catch up with myself. For years, I occupied my time trying and failing to be the woman the men in my life wanted me to be.
Mayer's being called ungentlemanly for telling Playboy a little too much about former girlfriend Jessica Simpson.
I really find it very disappointing. Those are intimate details that you don't want the world to know. I knew that I wasn't present. I knew that something was off. It scared me because I have younger children. There was like a party at my house and I don't even know who got my kids dressed. And I just remember crawling up the stairs and just wanting to go to sleep and get away from it all. I felt like it was making me feel safe. I felt like it was making me feel more confident and taking away the anxiety when really it was feeding it. I knew in that moment it was time to surrender. I was shocked that I took myself to that place where I could just not be here anymore. I knew I had to face my fears and do it sober. Therapy was the hardest part of sobriety, but it was also the most meaningful part. I didn't know until a lot later in life how many issues that it actually caused with going into bad relationships. It's connected our family on such a deep level. And my father and I, even though I let him go as a manager, I now have him as my father.
Many celebrities launch clothing lines, but few are as successful as Jessica Simpson. Her Jessica Simpson collection is a billion-dollar empire.
I just found so much clarity and so much acceptance of who I am. I want the freedom to say, well, there are no more secrets. I have a different relationship to fear now. You either conquer it or you let it destroy you. It's just so much freedom walking through those fears. I have felt such an empowerment as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, just being present and feel like I'm truly myself.